Hello and welcome back to another episode of Swords and Sapphics. I'm Rachel.
I'm Ivy.
And this is the place where we talk all things queer, women, and sharp objects. Let's start with what we've been watching this week. Well, watching since the last episode. Because we've watched a lot. We've been going through a lot of media consumption at the minute, and we have a lot to talk about today.
What this episode will really be about, because there's a lot of stuff we consumed and a lot of stuff to talk about.
Precisely.
So what did we watch? Once again, I feel like we're gonna have to do a little shout out to Apple TV, because I don't know how about you, but I'm basically watching their content only now. Again, the new season of Trying is coming out. So we're watching that every Friday, which reminds me tomorrow is the day we're gonna get probably some pain. I'm very ready.
Yeah.
Then we watched Blackbird.
We did. We watched Blackbird with Taron Egerton, who he also produced it, I saw, which is pretty epic. So it's a like crime thriller type thing, and he is a drug dealer who is arrested by the FBI. And because he's like this charming, like charismatic guy, they choose him to go undercover into a high security prison, and they want him to get the places where a serial killer named Larry Hall buried his victims, and it's inspired by the true story of Larry Hall and Jimmy Keene, I feel.
Yeah. It was something. It was 6 episodes. It's obviously a limited series, and what a ride!
A big ride, yeah.
I'm not a fan of thrillers much. I don't enjoy drama particularly, but this show just blew my mind. And once again, we mentioned it in the previous episode, Apple now focuses on quality over quantity, and they took their sweet time with the episodes and with the storytelling, and just the way the story evolved throughout the episode. And that's what made it so chilling, and so it just makes you sit on the edge of the seat and be like, what is going on?
There's also always that doubt where you're like, do I know everything that they want me to know? Like, because the story is pretty clean cut, but you never quite know. And I think the thing that really made this series was the actor who played Larry Hall. Let me just check what his name is. Paul Walter Hauser. I'm not sure how you say that. But he was just like, I don't think I've ever watched acting like that before.
It was amazing.
He is such a like, he just really embodied what you would expect of one of those types of serial killers who are still very much in that child mindset where they can't distinguish like reality from fantasy, and they can't really distinguish like the good from the bad. Like, they don't see what's wrong with their actions. And he talks in this like childlike voice still. But then he has these moments that are really dark where he talks about like how he assaulted his victims and things, and like he calls it sex, but he doesn't realize it's rape. And there is just it's so like you can't take your eyes off it because of the way that he does it. It was just really like fascinating.
It was also fascinating in the sense that you're not sure if you really believe that he did it or not, even though like we know it's based on true events. I didn't search for it. I didn't really look into it. I just went into it for the show and for the experience, and also the dub, which I sort of enjoyed. And because he's in this like childlike manner, and he talks like very simply, and you said it, he cannot say the bad from the good. It feels more like the bad for him and the good for him, and he sees nothing else beyond that. And for a lot, like until the last episode, or maybe the previous one, until they had the big talk, I really believed that he didn't do it, and he was just like sort of like a scapegoat, and someone else did it. And it was
Yeah.
he also had these
because
moments
he
where
was labeled.
no, there was also these moments where you were like, oh, he's very good, that's kind of cute. And then he says something like that makes you very like scared for your life in your own house.
Yeah. And also the way he acts, it still, he asks these questions about what he did, about like a sexual assault, things like that, but still as it though he's a child and he doesn't understand it. And also just his eyes, like there's this moment where Taron Egerton's character Jimmy realizes that he does have the eyes of a serial killer. And it's just like insane the way that he makes that transition from like this innocent, well, seemingly innocent childlike character to somebody who is capable of that level of destruction and doesn't even know it, because he's labeled as like a serial confessor when at the beginning of the show, like everyone says, oh, he's harmless, it's just Larry being weird. Like he goes to a lot of war reenactments, he's a Confederate. And he does it with his brother, so you kind of think, okay, if they say he didn't do it, did he do it? And then you have his brother who seems much more capable of something like that, something like murder and rape, and you're like, has he just taken like his brother's stories and like fantasized about them and truly thinks that he was him? But obviously it doesn't turn out that way, but it's so fascinating. I'm kind of glad I didn't know the full story before
Same. And
we
that
watched it.
it was quite a journey to go through that without knowing anything about it. And also like you still feel like he's not really stupid, but he doesn't have the mental capacity to figure out how to kill someone and how to cover it up and still go on as if nothing had happened.
And another thing that was really good was they had this whole episode about the victim, like she was the narrator, despite the fact that she was dead before the events took place. And that was just really powerful as well, because it wasn't just about like the fascination we have with serial killers. And as Jimmy like explored that and got to know Larry more, like he started thinking about the victims and the fact that the parents didn't know where the little girls were buried and things, and like how the family was still suffering. And it wasn't just about like this like sensation we have with where we're obsessed with serial killers, it was about the victims as well
and the consequences of it
for
and other people.
He never confesses where the bodies are. Spoiler alert, they still don't know.
In reality they still haven't found the bodies, which is just terrifying.
I'm just looking because I'm on an article that says what Blackbird didn't tell us about Larry, so I'm just okay. So in real life, like Larry voluntarily shows Jimmy the map and boasts about his crimes. In real life, Keane believing he would be freed immediately once he's told the FBI about the map, also stopped pretending to be Hall's friend, blowing his own cover. So like we see Taron under pressure in like those scenes where he knows he has to keep his cover, but he has like so much hatred and disgust for what Larry confesses. But in real life, he blew his cover at that point when like Larry talked about the crimes that he committed, which is interesting. But we must talk about the FBI agent, the woman. What was her name? Lauren McCauley. So there's this like amazing badass FBI agent in Blackbird called Lauren, and Oh my God, I was so gay for her. Like as soon as she stepped in, she was just beautiful.
Absolutely.
She was so like
Absolutely.
powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sad she didn't have a bigger role actually, because like once Jimmy was in the prison, she was kind of doing her own thing.
Yeah.
But I loved her very much.
Yeah. Absolutely. I love how we went into this show and defending Jacob like for for the men, like for Chris Evans and Tara, and
Hmm.
we just got so much more out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. They really are like works of art in a way, like very cinematic in that sense. Like the way the tension is built and the story is like weaved through it. It's just like, and it's just really, you can't stop watching it because it's
Mm-hmm.
really powerful in that
Yeah.
sense. Like, and that's what we mean when we say quality over quantity. They really take the time to weave a story from beginning to end, and they know where it will begin and they know where it ends. It's not just a series that is there for the sake of it, like a lot of Netflix shows are.
Mm-hmm. Even in the first episode when the detective found the body, there was this like it was very long time since for him to like go through the field to the where they found the body, and it was very long,
Mm,
but it was
yes.
even in slow motion, I feel, and it was just with some weird music that wasn't really in music, but it just really forced you to be like glued to the computer or the
Mm-hmm.
screen and not wanting to move your eyes away because it was just so goddamn good. Yeah.
And when he came to the body, he didn't like, he lifted the sheet, but we never saw what was
Mm-hmm.
underneath. Like we knew there was a body there. They didn't need the grotesque to like shock us.
Mm-hmm.
It was still horrific without a horrific image attached to it,
Mm-hmm.
which is something that I feel a lot of creators aren't quite there yet with
Mm-hmm.
things like that. They use blood and gore to shock people, but that wasn't necessary in that instance.
Yeah.
Like we got it when we needed it, when it showed Larry cutting off the finger of a corpse because he was a grave digger as a child
Mm-hmm.
and things like that. But like in the most powerful moments, we didn't need the gore, and
Yeah.
that was a really amazing way of doing it.
I feel like even most bad that way because then it would having that gore there, it would make it like too grotesque for it to
Mm.
be like very like actually good scene.
Mm-hmm. And in that sense, it feels like respectful of the victims as well,
Mm-hmm.
like,
Yeah.
and respectful of the women who do go through that, because obviously she was like assaulted before she was killed, and it wasn't made into again like this cool like cinematic gory thing where people are like, oh cool, gross. It was very respectful in the way it was done. It wasn't about the body, it was about who they were before they were just a body.
Which again, I feel like it made it so huge in the sense of like what actually happened in the viewer's head because it was about the
Mm-hmm.
story, and before she died it wasn't exactly about just a name or just the number of his victims, and because she narrated an episode you had a whole character that you didn't met until the very last episode, and you didn't really have a chance, and it was just
Mm.
uh, it was so powerful, like when she went through her family and she even said it was a short life but it was a good life or something along the lines. It was very good. It's weird to
Yeah,
say
and
it
there were
was
scenes
very
of,
you enjoy watching something like that,
yeah,
but yeah.
it was just like the exact care and precision that a subject matter like that needs, especially when you're watching something inspired by a true story, because
Mm-hmm.
there are a lot of things out there that are inspired by true events, but they're made into a film, they're made into entertainment, they're there for that. But this was so intricate and careful in the
Mm-hmm.
way that it was done. Whoever is behind all of that is a genius, and
Yeah.
like I have so much respect for that,
Mm-hmm.
because It's what you need, definitely. It's what we all need.
They didn't make it an entertainment out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a story. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't just something to sit down and watch at the end of the day. It was a
Yeah.
story. And it felt that way.
Let's go to some later shows that we watched. I sort of forced you to watch Ted Lasso, which I
You
myself
did,
started
yeah.
watching like last week or week before. Which is again on Apple TV. It's a sitcom about an American football coach going to London to coach what Americans know as a soccer, but it's actual football.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't enjoy sports. I hate football, and I did not expect just to sit through these episodes being so fucking invested in the characters, and even at the end of the season just be rooting for them to win a fucking match and just sob my heart out. It
I
was just
know.
so fucking good, honestly.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I really am. And it has that perfect British humor as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a blend of the two. I didn't actually know that it was British before I started watching it until you said. Like when I heard people talking about it, I just saw like Ted Lasso and I was like, I don't like the actor. I'm not interested in American sports and I'm not interested in British sports either. But then I sat down and watched it and it was really good. It's so funny. I'm loving it a lot.
I also really love that, especially like if you grow up again around like little breaks who are do sports, they usually like bully you. That's my experience. I went to
Mm-hmm.
elementary school that had a lot of like little football players. They bully the fuck out of me even though they were like half my age. It's terrifying to go near them.
Yeah.
So this is sort of what I expected it to be, like just a group of just a football team of breaks. They are the most adorable goofballs, and you just want to cuddle all of them and put them into like safe space to protect them. And I did not expect that
Yeah.
at all.
And oh my God, isn't that amazing? Because like there is still so much like manliness and macho-ness surrounding
Mm-hmm.
football. Even now, there's a headline at the minute in Britain. A guy is being tried. He's on trial for like 8 assaults, sexual
Mm-hmm.
assaults. But it's so nice to see another side of that, like the the community of it and like the way people come together for it. It's
Mm-hmm.
just it makes me want to like football and I
I
fucking hate
know.
football.
I know. And just like I'm rewatching it now as I work, and I'm today I was just waiting for my lunch to be made, and I was running around my living room playing with my dog, and I was chanting, uh he's there, he's every fucking there, Roy Kent or something like that. Because I just adore it so much.
Yeah.
It's just so good. And also I really adore like all the relationships and the friendships, and they are just such a tight group of people, and they're just one big
Mm-hmm.
family, and each character is
Yeah.
different, and it's very well thought through, and it's actually again taken time to go through the characters and to show you who they are. That is just very soft and adorable, and I love it very much.
Yeah. And I think they show you like the generational difference. Like Roy is he's aggressive, he's
Mm-hmm.
assertive, he's dominant, but beneath that he's a big softy. And then you get like Sam.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Is he called
Yeah.
Sam?
Sam. Yeah.
And he's just very innocent and lovely. And Danny as well. Like
Mm-hmm.
they're just very like soft cinnamon roll characters who
Yes.
happen to play football. And you kind of see like how modernization of that is like
Mm-hmm.
allowing men to just be people as well
Yeah.
as footballers. And I love that so
Yeah.
very much.
I just love Sam so much. He's always so polite and so happy, and he's always smiling, and just makes my heart warm very much.
Yeah. And even Ted,
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't like his actor. I don't like the southern accent. I was like, I'm not gonna like this. And then
Mm.
the end of episode 1, I was like, oh no, I like this.
I know. I know. Yeah, I don't it, I don't really care about the actor, let's put it that way. I've seen a movie he played with Lizzie Olsen. I went in for her. Naturally, he was the main character, but I wanted my Lizzie. And so, like, I watched something with him. I just don't care for him, but I fucking love
No,
him here. I really do.
I know.
And also,
I've seen this. I've
yeah.
seen this rom-com that's supposed to be very good, which he's in, and now I feel like I'm capable of watching it because I like him now.
Yeah.
I feel like I can do it now. Maybe
Mhm.
this is what I needed.
You see?
I can't
Wonderful.
remember what it's called though.
Also, mostly in the second season, which you're not into yet, so I'm not gonna say anything in particular, but they are very like going into some big topics, which I'm big fan of. Like two and yeah. And it's the one is my favorite all-time favorite episode of the show. And I'm very excited for it to get there. I believe it's episode 4 or 5. And it's very good. It's very, very good. It makes me cry every single time. And by every single time, I mean the twice I watched it.
Can
But
you give me a hint?
it's no, I don't think I can give you a hint without telling you what it's really about. I mean, I can. I don't like to spoil it to you, but if you want, I can then. You want it? Okay.
Yeah.
Their big sponsor, which is the Dubai Air, is owned by a company that is ruining Nigeria and the environment there, and the government is covering it up.
Okay.
So Sam starts to speaking out about it, and he puts a tape over the name of the sponsor on the dress, and then they all do it, and it's just very big, amazing thing. It's really beautiful.
Oh,
I know. I'm so excited for you to get to it.
It's so good when sitcoms go through the effort of actually addressing problems. It makes it so much better.
Yeah.
Because it isn't just a comedy. Like Ted has a panic attack at one point. Like Roy is struggling because he's like getting older and he's not the player he once was. And there's a lot underneath that.
Yeah.
And I love that very much.
Also, Jamie goes through and like he starts off as 20-year-old dighead who just annoys you very much so. But he goes through an enormous like character development. And I wouldn't believe I would say it, but ended up loving him. And for Nate, to me, is the opposite. Nate starts off as the very adorable, bullied, he like serves the team, gives them drinks and towels and
kit. He does he washes the kits and stuff.
Yeah.
He's basically just like a servant, basically.
Yeah. Which
that's all he is to them.
What you understand, that was sort of how he lived his entire life. And then he gets some kind of power. Like he becomes like assistant coach. He sort of gets this power a little bit, and it just
If I had like one complaint about the show, it would be that they ruined his character a little bit. I mean, I'm not saying he shouldn't have been promoted, but he's not a lot less likable when he comes out of his shell. There's like, and it's so rapid that you almost think, has he always been that gross? Like, and he was just pretending.
He has like that thing is a whole storyline in the season 2, so you will get more of it.
Okay.
And I feel I didn't like it at first too, but once you understand it's part of the story, it's just fascinating to me. And it really is that the bully gets the power and becomes the bully. And it's really really well done. It's very good, and exactly it makes you, the entire show is really about the people, and it makes you really jump from one to another and like different people and ship them with like other people.
Am I gonna get a new ship?
Yes. My favorite one. Honestly, I'm getting there. I'm almost there.
Even more than Keely and Roy.
To me, it's the
Have
same. Like, yeah, it's just I
have I
love them very
met
much.
them yet?
Yes, from the beginning.
Both of them.
Yep. I told you before you started watching it. I didn't use names. I used their positions. And
You said the manager, which
no,
no.
no. I
Is it Rebecca and someone?
uh-huh.
Fuck, who's gonna be with Rebecca?
You
Ted,
won't
I
guess
hope.
it. You won't guess it. I swear to God, you won't guess it because I didn't guess it. And I was shocked and I loved
Oh,
it. I loved it.
Coach Beard.
No,
Coach Beard.
no.
Oh no.
I'm telling you, you won't guess it. But it's fucking fantastic.
Oh my god, is it going to be an age difference with one of the footballers? Oh fuck yeah. Oh fuck yeah. Is it going to be Jamie?
No.
Not Sam. What? Rebecca and Sam?
Yes. Yes. And I would die for them. I would fucking die for them.
Oh. I don't know what to say.
I know. Do you remember the episode with the ghosts and how they were doing the whole thing? Sam went to Rebecca's office and he was like, and she was, oh, Sam, no. And she was, oh, I understood. Why would you feel like you're a very attractive woman and all that? And I just now watching it now, it's just like, oh my God, the chemistry was there all along.
Oh my god. Oh my god, and he's gonna be the one who makes her feel electric like Roy said she deserved, like struck by lightning.
Yes.
Oh my god.
And
well, I'm going
just
through some things now.
Understandably.
Okay. I'm very excited.
You should. They're just everything to me, really.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else that we've been watching?
I've been watching. I am still watching The Vampire Diaries. I also started the originals because I really do hate myself. I've watched also on Apple TV the animated movie Luck.
Yes.
And it was very it was so really good. It was really good. It was amazing. I cried the whole time. I love animated movies. And it's about like girl who is extremely unlucky and she gets to a land of luck, of pure luck, and it's so good.
And speaking of animated movies, there's a scene in Ted Lasso where they watch Iron Giant, and the Iron Giant was my childhood movie. It brings me so much nostalgia and makes me so emotional. And there's just a shot of all the grown footballers crying at Iron Giant, as they fucking should, because it's just
there was even like the shot of Isaac sitting next to someone who was texting, and he's like, no, not now. You're watching Iron Giant. It was so cute. So goddamn cute.
Yeah. I've just been watching Grey's Anatomy. It's hitting deep. I'm getting the melodrama that I was promised. And George O'Malley continues to be the love of my life. And I'm also putting in, my friend told me that someone from the original team turns out to be a lesbian, and I swear to fuck, if it isn't Sandra Oh's character, I don't want it, because she's so in love with Meredith Grey, it's not even funny. She gives no shits about her fiance, Dr. Burke, but she loves Meredith with everything she has, and it's beautiful. So I'm calling it now, okay?
I know who will be gay though.
Am I right?
No.
Oh fuck.
Because I feel like she came out in real life and she's now in Sex and the City, and maybe
can't think of who else it would be. Because,
okay, so the actor, they're using they, their, them pronouns now.
Okay.
And they're very I know them from them being like a big LGBTQ activist. And they're now in the new Sex and the City thing. And I do believe in the show they were gay. I know who that is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know who it is. Unless it's
said the
Callie.
name. Yeah.
Is it Callie?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense because I saw a picture of them recently and they looked very queer and beautiful.
Yeah. Yes. So spoiler alert to you.
Yeah, well, I don't mind. It's been out that long that I'm good for spoilers.
Yeah. I love that I haven't watched the show and I still know more about it than you do. I know the scenes, I know who's gonna die, and I know everything.
No, it's not funny because I was just minding my own business one day and there was like a tribute to George O'Malley. And I swear to fucking God, if he dies, I will die. I I would not wish to continue on this earth without George O'Malley there.
Well, then you see, I guess. I feel like half it's the show is so long, and from what I've seen, I feel like only people keep dying there, like the main cast keeps dying. And I've seen like 20 of them die by now. I don't know why I watch it. It just
I know
fascinates
that.
me.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Derek's gonna die at some point because I know that he left the show.
I feel like he died like 3 times.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm sure he comes back from the dead or something.
Yes.
But Meredith just died in the last episode I watched. She had hypothermia, but she came back.
Wonderful.
It was beautiful. Yeah. But Meredith won't die because she's the skinny white girl in the center of it all. They can't kill the main whiny character. It's the CW. Is it the CW? I don't know.
I feel so, yeah. Or ABC maybe, isn't it?
One of them.
Yeah.
Both are the same. The same concept applies. There must be a skinny white whiny girl at the center of all of it, and she must continue on. And when she eventually dies, her legacy will continue. Speaking of, there was a lot of tea about this. I don't know if I've said it on this podcast before, but like Katherine Heigl was blacklisted from Hollywood for speaking out about the hours, the long hours and work conditions that it took to film Grey's Anatomy. And nobody supported her at the time, but now all these things seem to be coming out recently from the actress who plays Meredith, Ellen Pompeo, I think she's called, because she wants to leave. So she's like stood by for years and not said a fucking word, and now she finally wants to leave after 5,000 seasons.
So now when it fits her, she signed up for other. Great. Yeah, I saw, speaking of tea, I saw someone say from the actors, like one of the actors said that she got paid off for not speaking out about Patrick something, and he was
Dempsey.
Yeah, like there was something shady.
I've heard bad things about all the men in that show. Not all the men. Not you, George O'Malley, my love, my heart, my soul. Just like the horrible ones. Apparently, because George O'Malley's actor is gay in real life, and apparently Isaiah Washington, who plays Dr. Burke, was homophobic. And as you said, I feel like Patrick Dempsey has been criticized for acting a certain way.
Yeah,
it's very interesting.
Indeed.
We should make a separate podcast about all the tea about Grey's Anatomy. There seems to be a lot of it.
Yes.
We should call it Earl Grey's Anatomy.
Fuck yes, absolutely. That's amazing. Oh my god, I love it very much. Amazing. That is a good one.
Thank you.
Yes. Have you watched something else?
Have I? I don't think so. I've been watching The Office. I watched a few episodes of The Office. That's getting good. I'm finally starting to get into it, I feel, but then I stopped watching it with Ted Lasso. Because I got to use the Apple subscription, you know?
Yeah. That's
it costs money, that one.
I understand.
Yeah.
Because Amazon isn't costing any money. Or where do you have The Office on Netflix?
Netflix, yeah.
Yeah. I'm finally getting a 4th season of What We Do in the Shadows, which is like vampire documentary by Taika Waititi. It's amazing. I love it. Once again, it's this episode in particular that I watched today was extremely gay. I love it. And it's very good. I have to recommend it to everyone.
I've
Very
only watched the film. I haven't watched the series yet.
And I haven't watched the film yet.
Oh yeah, speaking of, well, I actually got halfway through and then I was kind of over it. I don't know why. It was funny, but like after an hour, I feel like I'd seen everything I needed to see. But I can imagine it would work well as a series. Which, speaking of, you need to put Our Flag Means Death somewhere. I need gay pirates. Oh, and back on the subject of sports, A League of Their Own just came out with the woman who plays Darcy in The Good Place.
Her name is Darcy. She plays
Janet.
Janet.
Her name is Darcy. But
Yes.
you know what? It's been a long day.
It's okay. Yes.
But that's very lesbian-ish. There's some this is very sapphic, is what I'm trying to say. So I think we should watch that maybe soon for the podcast. You know, everything's just for the podcast.
Yes, just for it.
Just for the podcast.
Yes. Can we talk about what the fuck is with Sapphic stories being only like set in historical settings? I hate historical things so much. I don't enjoy the movies. I don't enjoy the shows. I will give pass to Bridgerton because it's done with a very like sparkly and colorful. But only like Sapphic shows and movies are only like historical ones, and it's annoying the fuck out of me. And I had to say it.
Let's think about why that must be. Because female sexuality has always been repressed as it is. So why not just plop us back in historical times where we were even more repressed than we are now? Yeah. It doesn't surprise me even a little bit that they would rather show a story of repression and restriction.
Yeah. But then again, we need more than to know that homophobia exists. Thank you.
God forbid we just watched a lovely little film set in the present day of Sapphics being happy and accepted and loved and not wearing corsets.
Yep. Though I will allow the corsets, but if it would be like in pirate setting, if it would give me like Sapphic pirates, that's something different. Now we're talking about something different, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, but I think the best example of this is Ammonite, which we both watched together. It was a historical. It was Kate Winslet and Saoirse Ronan, and it was based on a real person. I don't know what she did. I don't know who she is, but she used to go on her little beach and pick up her little stones, you know, and then she got a lady friend. They did not speak a fucking word. Not one conversation was had the whole time. The highlight was 69ing. They'd had some fruity times in the bedroom, but not one conversation, because women do not talk. They just fuck.
But I mean, Saoirse wrote her face, and I will forever be thankful to them for that.
Yes, thank you for that.
Even like I watched some interview with Kate Winslet, and she said something along the lines like, when it came to the sex scenes, they really did their research, which I'm wondering what it was. And
I would like to do my research with Saoirse Ronan.
Yes, I know. And that she really wanted it to be like good, and it was. So thank you for that. That's all I can thank for. I would be happy to just watch the 5 minute of them fucking, and that would be it.
Yeah, thank you for that.
I would come out of the show that with the same knowledge of the movie and what she's done, who she was.
All I know is that she pissed on the beach and she did not wash her hands. You dirty pig.
Yes. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was an adventure. We're gonna have a whole historical episode when we have the brain cells to actually watch historical films first of all, because they're
Yeah.
always a slog. They're always an effort to get through. So, but if you have any ideas, we were thinking Carol,
Mm-hmm.
the portrait of a lady on fire.
Yes. Then there is the some with um what's her name? Vanessa Kirby. She did another historical one.
Mm,
And then there is
yeah.
Rachel Weisz and Rachel McAdams. They had that one.
Yes.
And we have to watch the ASAP because I
Speaking
seen
of,
yeah.
I I had a free trial to Curzon, which is part of Amazon Prime subscriptions. You know, one of the side subscriptions on Prime. And there was a lot of Sapphic films on there. It's where I watched Makeup with Joseph Quinn, which was Sapphic. So if you're looking for Sapphic films like that, they're all pretty much indie. And I did see the Rachel Weisz one. I saw Blue is the Warmest Color on there. So I think I might have to get that back when we start doing episodes about
Yeah.
Sapphic films.
I'm excited.
Okay, shall we talk books?
Yes, let's talk books.
Oh yeah.
What did you read?
I've been reading.
What
Everybody
did you
cheer
read?
for me.
Yay.
I took 2 days off. I read in the sun. It was blissful and wonderful. Yes, did I get burnt out as soon as I came back to work? Yes, I did. But that's beside the point because I read books last week.
Yes.
What did I read? I finished The Kingdom of the Cursed by Kerry.
Yes, so.
Ma-
Money
Kerry
something.
Manny Scalco.
Yeah.
Manny Scalco. Which was very good. Better than the first one, I must say. It was set in hell. There are twists and turns. It's an enemies to lovers. It's steamy. It's wonderful. She has a dagger strapped to her thigh. She's exactly the stabby woman we all strive for. And she has a stabby man on her arm.
And he has golden tattoos. And
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
nothing if not a whore for tattoos, especially when they're fucking golden.
Yeah. And he cuts out a man's tongue.
Mm. Men, take notes.
Yeah, if you're looking for a new adult fantasy, I would recommend this series. The writing isn't for me, but the story is enough that I can happily breeze through it and enjoy it still.
Banter in the first book was just everything to me. It made me scream in laughter because they hated each other so much, and it was exactly what I needed to fet myself with glorious feelings. So good.
And one of the things that stands out the most as well is the way she describes food. She comes from an Italian family that owns a restaurant, and there's a word for that, isn't there? Like when food is described in books, like cozy food, but I don't know what the word is. But yeah, I love reading about the little olive oil and the garlic.
It made me extremely hungry. And it also especially in the first book, when she was the first 100 pages, she was in every other chapter, she was in the restaurant cooking. And I was like, do I want to start cooking? For reference, I hate it with my entire soul. I don't like to do it. I hate to do it. And at that point, I was, is she gaslighting me into wanting to cook? She did. And it lasted me until I closed the book. It was awful. Dark times.
She also gaslit him into cooking. Wrath started cooking in this book, so it was all in good fun.
Yes.
And apparently food is even better in hell, so I guess we've all got something to look forward to in the next life.
Yay. Fucking yay. What else have you been reading?
I read and finished The Picture of Dorian Gray, which was an experience. I'm gonna watch the adaptation soon. I must. It was very good. I haven't read a good classic in a really long time, and I find that I always struggle, but with this one I didn't struggle. I picked it up and I read it, and I enjoyed it. It was really good. Oscar Wilde just has such a way with words that a lot of classics and a lot of other classic authors just can't master, like the satire and the descriptions and the characters. Oh, it's just very good. And then I read another book. I read Always You by Samantha Young, which is a romantic suspense. We've talked about it before. This one was Mac and Arrow's story, and look, it's getting complicated, kids, because because the first book was
is it explainable? Is it even explainable?
Let's give it a go.
Okay, go for it.
The first book follows Robin and Lachlan. Lachlan has a brother and a sister. The second book is Lachlan's brother Thane and Robin's sister Regan. So two brothers and sisters, both alike in dignity, in fair Scotland, where we lay our scene. Also, I just
so far so good. Yeah.
That?
What?
I just recited Shakespeare like some fucking bad. Okay.
And now it gets complicated anyway, with the third book.
It's where it gets sticky. Because Robin has a father named Mac, who is also Lachlan's bodyguard, right? And then, fucking hell, right, Lachlan has a sister called Arrow, and Mac and Arrow do the deed. So Lachlan's sister is with Lachlan's wife's,
with her sister-in-law's father. So when Mac and Arrow will have a child, for Robin it will be both a sibling and nephew or niece, which is incredibly insane. And when Robin and Lachlan will have a child, for Mac it will be both a grandchild and a nephew and niece. It's so fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
It's a lot. And I try to it's just so good, but I'm trying to ignore these parts. Unfortunately, the writer has a different idea, and she reminds me with like 3 times part of the book. She just like wraps up the entire family connection, and I'd rather not be reminded of it.
The characters laugh about it, like good old incest. Like, let's be clear, it's not actually incest, but fucking hell, it's about as close as you can get without it being.
Yeah, it's just, it's strange.
It's a lot to handle. Yeah. And also, it's so very painfully heterosexual.
I haven't read a straightest book. Like, it's extremely straight, and really these books are the definition of white feminism. At the end.
Yeah. Look, we have to get the angst where it comes, but it could have been better. There's this gay character called Jock, which first of all isn't a name. Imagine if his last name was Strap.
I would have been shocked.
And in like the first book, he comes out as gay, and then immediately the narrator is like, I can see the pain in his eyes. He's been through a lot. No backstory, just because for the pure fact that he's gay. He has a husband and a son at home, but this man has been through a lot, all right? You can't be gay and happy. You must have trauma.
And the fourth book is about like another brother of Lachlan, and the only Black woman in probably the entire Scotland. And I just there's no one, everybody else in the books are white, and I'm scared for her. Like, why would she in her right mind go there in particular? I would never know. And just I read the fourth book and one book ahead. It's just
and the thing is as well that it's set around this family, and there are only so many stalkers and trauma and kidnappings and you know, like just basic, very like easy suspense to write that one can take before it's like, it's time for therapy, one thinks. Which actually the main character of the book I read, Mark, he goes to therapy for no fucking reason. I want him to remain broken. Like in romance, don't go to therapy. Either be toxic or don't be toxic, but don't heal yourself. I don't want you to be fixed.
So we were reading together on FaceTime. I was reading the 4th book, you were reading the 3rd one, and she said to me out of nowhere, "Oh, Meg got really boring since he went to therapy."
And it's true. I will die on this hill.
It is true.
If you're going to start off with angst, you can't get rid of this trauma halfway through the book. That's not how it fucking works. If I'm signing up for angst at the beginning, I want it till the end.
Yes, you can go to therapy after I read the book.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something you do in your own time, not in mine. Not on my time.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So to sum up, we like Samantha Young's biggest fans, but also her worst enemies. And that's fine. I think you can like something and still read things critically.
I feel like that's sort of a responsibility of one. If we like go out and recommend things, we have to like look at it critically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah, this is not us recommending it. No.
Don't if you're talking about stuff. Yeah. Don't. No. I'm excited for the next book. She will write 3 more in this. It's like a follow-up series.
Oh yeah.
And there's 1 more in this series. I'm very excited for it.
It's a huge security team in this story, and there's female bodyguards up in here. And I haven't had fucking 1 story about them yet. What's the point? You can't give me a female bodyguard and not do anything with them. It's just rude.
I don't want her to give me more, like, put out more books, but I'm so excited for them. It's a weird combination.
Yeah. Yeah, look, don't read them, but if you're looking for suspense, maybe read them a little bit. I don't know.
If you're looking for angst, read it, but don't do it. I also read Glow by Raven Kennedy, which is 4th book in Guild series, and it's retelling of King Midas. I don't know how you pronounce it in English, Midas. And it's so good. Yeah, so the same. Yeah, it's very good. The 1st book, like, you don't meet the love interest until the last chapter of the 1st book. The entire story really is about like her being manipulated her entire life, and exactly like she was groomed by someone and manipulated, and it's like you see it as a 3rd person, and you know how wrong it is and how abused she was, but she's still in the mindset of she's still being the victim, and she's still think like, I'm okay, like this is okay, he loves me and all that. And it's very fascinating to see the journey she goes through. There's a lot of trigger warnings, but I enjoy it very much. It's like a dark fantasy, and yeah, it's very good. So I read the 4th book. That was a sort of filler book, but it was very good anyway.
Yeah, I have it on my Kindle. But I have not read it yet. Thank you for listening to another episode of Swords and Sapphics. This one ran too long, so we made it into a 2-parter. So in the next episode, you can listen to us talk about all things Sappho, the Greek poetess, and also What's the Tea, our new segment where Ivy gives us all the update on what's going on in TikTok world, in the media industry, and in the book community.
I didn't have a life, so now I'm feeding myself with all the drama, so
and we are grateful. But until then, support women's rights,
but most importantly, support women's wrongs. See you later, alligator.
In a well, crocodile.
Bye bye bye.